92.7.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News on Sri FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kasmi 107.1 FM and across the world at 3news.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. This afternoon, police CID reveals chilling details surrounding the brutal murder of Stephen King Amo, an immigration officer who died under suspicious circumstances. Meanwhile, the Ghana Police Service and Interpol recover 43 stolen vehicles said to be linked to a transactional crime syndicate. Also coming up in politics and governing National Democratic Congress, NDC holds primary in Akwatia to select its candidate for the September 2 by-election. And much later, Cabinet approves implementation of responsible cooperative mining and skills development program. Will engage CSOs on what they expect with this new initiative. Very much for joining us today. Now, the Ghana Police Service has revealed chilling details surrounding the brutal murder of Stephen King Amo, an immigration officer whose lifeless body was discovered under suspicious circumstances. Amo went missing on the 3rd of July 2025 after leaving home to meet a friend at Ashoman Estate. His charged body was discovered days later in a drain at a bomb junction near Kwabinya. Bright Hour, believed to be the last person in contact with the deceased, was subsequently arrested by the police. Now, investigations suggest that the victim was killed in an apartment and dumped elsewhere. Briefing the media on the case, Director General of the Police CID, COP Lydia Donko, indicated a clear attempt to conceal evidence at the crime scene. And my colleague Noble Crosby-Annan followed that press conference. He will be joining us very shortly. But let's hear what the CID boss said.
The investigation took a decisive turn on 16 July 2025 when the CID, supported by officers from the counter-terrorism units and the Kwabinya District Police, visited the suspect's residence. A forensic inspection revealed the following: blood stains in the living room and evidence of attempted cleanup, freshly sprayed walls, and empty can of spray paint. A search of a secondary crime scene near the GBC satellite area also uncovered a burnt woolen carpet stained with blood and partially burnt camouflage fabric. These items were photographed, retrieved, and processed for forensic analysis. On 24 July, police obtained a warrant from the court to search a particular room in the suspect's house. A search in the room revealed more blood stains which were photographed and samples were collected for forensic analysis. A further search in the bushes about 100 meters from the suspect's house also led to the retrieval of a fufu pestle with blood stains all over it, wrapped in polythene. Police also impounded the suspect's vehicle, in which some blood stains were also seen, and same was collected for analysis. I wish to state that the initial blood samples collected have tested positive for human blood. To aid the investigation, the deceased mother and son have provided samples for DNA profiling. In the face of these pieces of evidence, the suspect, who was initially charged with kidnapping, has since been rearrested and formally charged with murder. He is currently on remand following his appearance before the Adabraka District Court and is scheduled to reappear on 8 August 2025. A special operation is currently underway to identify and arrest his accomplices, and we are following other vital leads to gather all necessary evidence against the suspect and his accomplices. The Ghana Police Service wishes to assure the public that the investigation remains ongoing and that every effort is being made to ensure that all the perpetrators are brought to justice.
Well, the police CID, in collaboration with Interpol and international law enforcement partners, has recovered 43 stolen vehicles believed to be linked to a transnational crime syndicate. The high-level joint operation, which spanned several months, targeted a sophisticated network suspected of smuggling stolen vehicles across borders. The vehicles were retrieved from various parts of Ghana, with investigators tracing their origins to countries including Germany, Canada, Italy, Spain, the Netherlands, and Belgium. At a press briefing, the Director General of the CID, COP Lydia Donko, said out of the 43 vehicles retrieved, a court has ordered that 18 be released to their verified owners. The remaining vehicles are being held pending further verifications and legal processes. We also do understand that several arrests have been made in connection with the theft.
This effective collaboration has resulted in the recovery of 43 vehicles stolen from abroad and brought into the country between January and July 2025. These 43 vehicles are mainly high-value luxurious vehicles such as Rolls-Royce, Audi Q8, Porsche, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, etc., stolen from countries such as the Netherlands, Spain, Belgium, Canada, USA, Germany, Italy, and France. Out of the 43 vehicles that have been impounded, investigations have been completed, and the courts have ordered that 18 of them should be repatriated back to the countries of origin. 8 have already been repatriated, while 10 are pending repatriation. Cases on the remaining 25 are still pending in courts. It is important to note that for every vehicle that is impounded, thorough investigations are carried out, and the importers are given the opportunity to provide proof of ownership of purchase of the vehicles from the countries of origin. It is sad to note that in almost all the cases mentioned above, those who clear the vehicles in Ghana are unable to provide proof of ownership or purchase of the vehicles from the country of origin prior to their importation into Ghana. Let me indicate here that payment of customs duties in Ghana does not mean that the vehicle was legitimately acquired from the country of origin. To further boost the fight against vehicle crime, a special task force has been set up by the CID administration to conduct intelligence-based operations and impound suspected stolen vehicles brought into the country. So far, the task force has successfully impounded 6 vehicles made up of 4 Toyota Tundra vehicles, 1 Toyota RAV4, and 1 Range Rover, all stolen from Canada.
And you heard that the director of the CID of the Ghana Police Service, COP Lydia Donkono, will bring you more on this very shortly. But ahead of that, let's go to the Eastern region now, because 1,047 delegates of the governing National Democratic Congress in the Akwatia constituency are expected to take part in voting to elect a parliamentary candidate for the September 2 by-election. 3 aspirants are contesting to represent the NDC: Henry Boache, Bernard Akubedu, and Erasmus Koni Ali. The Akwatia by-election follows the death of the MPP MP Ernest Yakume, who held the seat for only 6 months after a protracted legal battle. In the 2024 general election, Ernest Kumi won with 19,269 votes, defeating the NDC's Henry Yadom Boache, who polled 17,206 votes. Now let's head over to the Akwatian constituency, where our correspondent Yvonne Nekwe is standing by at the venue of the NDC primaries. Yvonne, if you can hear me, has the election process officially begun? What can you tell us about the turnout so far?
Well, Beatrice, the election began an hour ago. The queues are gradually thickening in here at the DDC Welfare Center here, where the NDC is having its primaries. About 50 delegates have already voted. We're expecting more than 1,000 of them to participate in this particular election. So far, the space has been very smooth. We are hoping that between now and by the close of 5 p.m., when the electoral process would have ended, it would have been a peaceful process so far.
Indeed. Talk to us about security. Are there visible security personnel on site? How are they managing the crowd trickling in?
So, Beatrice, from the Boadia section of the road that links to Akwatia through to the township to where the election is going on, and then they're packed close to the venue, we're seeing police at the checkpoint making sure that they are running the delegates through inspection process before they join the queue outside the jurisdiction, seeing the police have their barricades on the line, ensuring that no persons are allowed inside, especially if we are not supposed to vote or you are not a delegate, neither official, to ensure that they're able to control the crowd that is coming in here. We're seeing quite a number of youth who have high stakes in elections, so passing by, singing songs and all of that. We're hoping that, again, the police will be able to manage the process so it gets all over here.
Have you spotted any of the candidates expected to participate in this so far?
Well, 3 candidates are participating, as you earlier on mentioned. We've seen 2 of them, spotted them. We've seen Erasmus Ali Kone, Henry Yadon Boache. 2 of them have bypassed. They are still interacting with the delegates who are yet to get into the queue. Erasmus Ali Kone won't speak to us, but Henry Yadon Boache briefed us more. He says that he has an unfinished business in the constituency, and so he's hoping that the delegates will look to that to be able to give him the norm again. Briefly, when he means unfinished business, we do know that in 2020 he won the election for the NDC, and so he's a former MP as well in the constituency. So that is his justification to the delegates, hoping that they give him the nod again.
Indeed. My final question to you, we also understand that some party bigwigs are there. In fact, if you're watching us on Facebook, we're showing you videos of some of them. I've seen Joseph Yamin there. Any other person who is there? What has the person been saying?
Well, as you rightly mentioned, Joseph Yamin is here, the coordinator for logistics and supervision for the NDC. Ludwig Proji is here. We're seeing the regional minister here, the regional chairman, Mark Hever, is also here. A number of them keep trooping in as the process goes on. If you do have, we'll kindly play the briefing they've been giving us.
Thank you very much.
This election is all about who your candidate is. The candidate must be acceptable by the people. The people have confidence in the person that is able to push and get what is needed for this constituency. And unfortunately for the aspirants, we happen to have more than a single candidate, which means that we have to go into an election and choose one. So we have to all come together, devoid of our personal interest, go in there and select who we think the party can present to the people of Akwatia, for the people of Akwatia to give us the vote. It is very clear that the NDC stands tall as far as development in Akwatia is concerned.
We have about 1,113 delegates to elect a candidate for NDC today. Everything is intact.
And you had some NDC party bigwigs there speaking to the media, even as it organizes that parliamentary primary to select a candidate that would represent the NDC in the September 2 by-election in that constituency. Some 13 minutes past the hour of 12 now. In a major policy shift aimed at reforming artisanal and small-scale mining in Ghana, Cabinet has approved the implementation of the Responsible Cooperative Mining and Skills Development Program. The program, spearheaded by the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, aligns with President John Mahama's vision of creating sustainable employment through responsible mining practices. Responsible Cooperative Mining and Skills Development Program is set to replace and build upon the Community Mining Scheme and the National Alternative Employment and Livelihood Program, integrating the most effective element of both initiatives while addressing the operational cooperatives. A core component of our COMSDEP is its skills development agenda targeting youth and women in mining communities. Let's get some more on this. Parkwasi Shandov is Media Relations Officer at the Ministries for Lands and Natural Resources. Good afternoon to you, sir. If you can hear us, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. President.
Let me find out how the ministry plans to ensure transparency and community trust in the allocation of legal concessions and resources under this new initiative.
Opacity is one of the elements that would not be present in this particular initiative. Indeed, a full picture that would be difficult to give now because it's still in the testing phase of the program.
But I'm sure there are short and medium and long-term strategies. So, for instance, what is the short to medium-term, as it were, deliverables that you know that within this time we should have been able to achieve this?
That is captured in the release that we published moments ago. So, first off, the most immediate result that the entirety of the populace will begin to see is the cooperative mining scheme, which effectively is the establishment of community-owned mining enterprises, which is centralized, in the communities. That is an outcome that we can begin to see now. Then, of course, the mine support services, which involves the provision of comprehensive technical support, which also includes modern equipment, geographical surveying, and regulatory compliance to elevate the operational standards across the cooperative mining operations. These two are outcomes that I'm sure we can begin to see now. Indeed, there is a third one, except that that one is a bit cost-intensive, and that is why I'm not sure it's an outcome we can see now. That is the environmental rehabilitation program. That one includes the reforestation and reclamation initiatives. As we speak, we have a total of about some 5,500 hectares of land which have been depleted, equivalent to some 7,500 football pitches. It will be very difficult for you to cast yourself into the future of when all these depleted parcels of land will return to their pristine state. That's the difficulty now. But there is the political will from the Minister, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, and therefore I think we can begin to look forward to brighter outcomes in the not too distant future.
A lot of the time when these policies are implemented, you get stakeholders, especially the locals, saying that they were not engaged. What is the strategy to engage them even from now through the entire process?
The strategy is to simply hand it over to them. Now, in the community mining scheme that we had in the past, what we realized is that the program that was originally designed to serve the interest of the community became more or less an elitist capture, if I have to put it that way. Elitist capture in the sense that there were people who were in the capital who could acquire the licenses, go to the communities, and then begin the excavation without the involvement and the participation of the actual local folks. What we are doing now is that we are ceding that obligation to them. They come together as a cooperative, including the traditional authorities. They determine the terms based on the stated protocols, and then they do the mining themselves. And therefore, it is community-led, community-implemented, and community-supervised. That way, you are removing any political actor or any third person who would want to leverage the avenue for their own parochial interests. So it's community-led, community-facilitated, and community-implemented.
Thank you very much, Pakwasi Shandov. He speaks for the Ministry of Lands. Now, the National Identification Authority has announced plans to expand its online services starting 2 weeks from today in a move aimed George, if you can hear me. All right, we've lost George on the line. We'll get to him and bring you more on this.
August, give your kids what they really want. Your full attention, your laughter, your time. It's time to press pause and just play together. Join us for the 3FM Family Fun Day, a full day escape packed with joy, bonding, and unforgettable togetherness. Whether you're a family of 2, 4, or 10, every family is welcome because this day is all about togetherness. Happening on Saturday, 9th August at Shorna Island in Labadi from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Picture this: live performances from talented kids, inter-family competitions with prizes for the most creative, coordinated, or hilarious families, team games like tug of peas, family sack races, and the ultimate family relay. Shorna Island
And it's still here on the Medanis on 3FM 92.7, 21 minutes past the hour of 12. Let's return to our earlier story about that unfortunate incident, the killing of that immigration officer, and the chilling details giving us some minutes ago by the police CID. Let's speak to my colleague, Noble Crosby, and he was at that press conference. Crosby, what more can you tell us beyond what we played earlier of the boss of the CID?
Well, the specific details that the CID boss is revealing has to do with the fact that upon forensic investigation, some blood stains were.
Crosby, I'm sorry to interrupt you. If you can read forward for this case.
Well, the CID is saying that this suspect has been arraigned on this fresh charge of murder, and investigations are still ongoing. She's also been talking about uncovering a car robbery syndicate following the arrest of a convicted fugitive, and so investigations also ongoing to arrest other accomplices involved in.
Crosby Annan, my colleague there, who monitored that press conference organized by the police CID. We go to the National Identification Authority. I was telling you earlier that the NIA has put in some new structures that is basically plans to expand its online services starting 2 weeks from today. George Quaining has been following this. He joins us live on the line. George, what more can you tell us about these key changes the NIA is talking about?
Thank you so much, Beatrice. And so with this very initiative, it means that they want to really expand the scope of the operations. And for people who are first-time applicants, they can have seamless engagement. And this is a good move. Most people that are here, applicants who are here at the center, have said to me personally. And so it's good news according to them. And this, of course, means a lot to the NIA. But one thing is, persons are really concerned about the information they give out to the NIA on this platform. But the NIA has assured that they have a robust system, and so information that is given aligns with legal and data protection standards across the country. So don't be worried that, scammers or fraudulent people may tamper with information. So this assurance has been given to all new applicants. So if you're an applicant and you're going to engage the services on, let's say, a regional office or even a premium center, make sure you know the amount of money you're going to pay, because the NIA has got to wind of the fact that some offices are taking on approved fees or extorting money from applicants. So, for instance, if you're a new term applicant, you're not supposed to pay for the first time if you're going to the district office. But if you go to the premium center, you pay 305 cedis. And if maybe you're a foreign national, you're supposed to pay $120 a year. After a year, you just renew it. That's half of the price, which is $60. So you need to know the exact payment so that you don't fall on the bad side of these unapproved fees, Beatrice.
Thank you very much. George Quaining is my colleague following the NIA story. And the news is that the NIA intends to extend or expand its online services starting from the next 2 weeks. 12 years ago, a groundbreaking HPV pilot vaccination campaign was launched in Ghana to protect young girls from cervical cancer. From dispelling myths about infertility to witnessing the long-term impact on their health, these young women are living testaments to the power of vaccination. Ahead of the national HPV vaccination campaign, Sarah Pinkro has been finding out the journey of those beneficiaries and the campaign's lasting effect on their lives 12 years on.
On September 5, Ghana is expected to begin the rollout of the HPV vaccination across the country for girls 9 years to 14 years. However, in 2013, the country had a pilot program in 4 districts within the country, 2 in the northern region and 2 in the Greater Accra region. In Accra, the district where some of the girls who took part in the exercise are located. We are here to find out how they are faring 12 years down the line after they took the vaccines. Come along.
Nurse Gracelove Ajusin was one of the public health nurses who took part in the 2013 HPV pilot vaccination campaign. As she walks us into the community of Ayenya, she reminisced the moment like today. She has worked at the CHIPS compound in the last 15 years.
So it was a way to reduce the population, especially in girls.
Years down the line, she still keeps a close tab on some of the beneficiaries.
Because of the misconceptions behind the vaccine, I did a vivid follow-up to ensure that after the vaccine, they have not gotten any side effects, nobody fell ill, and 12 years down the line, all the girls are fine, they are healthy, some have even given birth. So they now come to accept and believe the HPV vaccine, that it's really helping and it's good for the girls.
Portia Kwame is among the young girls who took the vaccine during the pilot campaign. She tells me it was a battle for her family before they eventually allowed her to take the vaccine.
Back then, our parents and even the people from the community had concerns about it.
We'll bring you the full report in our subsequent bulletins. Log on to 3news.com for more news. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us today on the Midday News on 3FM 92.7.
Follow us on social media, Twitter at 3FM927, Facebook at 3FM927, and also on 3news.com.
Hello and good afternoon and welcome to the Business Daily on 3FM 92.7 with me, Enyunam Halika. Now coming up this morning, Media Foundation for West African launches guide to equip journalists in fight against illicit financial flows as Ghana loses over 1.4 billion cedis annually to their enemies.
Illicit financial flows are very complex and technical. Developing this media guide is to support the media and journalists at large to understand what goes into illicit financial flows.
Also, the Bank of Ghana introduces new reporting requirements for the financial institutions in the remittance space. We have details of these and other stories lined up for you. Please stay with us. The details now. In a new initiative to combat Ghana's significant financial losses, the Media Foundation for West Africa has released a guide for journalists to investigate illicit financial flows. These flows
contribute our quota in this respect. We recognize the role that the media plays in this country in unearthing some of these illicit activities. But of course, as we normally say that we regard the media as the fourth estate of the state, right? And they have that watchdog role and they have a role that to play. And the issues of illicit financial flows are very complex and technical. And so it's not everyone who has that understanding. So developing this media guide is to support the media and journalists at large to understand what goes into illicit financial flows. And how can you identify
987 and Section 9. Notice published on July 29, 2025 noted it has been